David Olney, you and I have just run a planning day for a Talked About Marketing client, and I have had a few people say, "Oh, interested in that. How are your planning days different from others? What's involved in a planning day?" And I must say, upon reflection, watching people get involved in some pretty deep exercises was satisfying, almost as satisfying as having some of them say, "Oh, we've been through many of these before, but this was amazing."
It's a real difference if you can run a planning day in a way that makes people feel it's really about them and what they want to achieve. And I think it's one of the hardest things to get people to understand before we do a planning day with them. And that is, they are the experts in their area and they are the ones that will work out the best way forward. But with us helping you, we can give you the benefit of lots of skills and tools and ways of approaching things and historical examples to help you feel not only empowered, but really ready to make and take hard decisions.
And that's the key. It wasn't about you and me preening about at the top of the room like ostriches or emus, knowing it all. It was about being there as, if you like, the servants or the guides to help people unlock the treasure chest of insight and decision-making ability that they all have, especially within the domain of their understanding, their passion.
Yep. And you said as serving people. So here I will jump into just a moment of servant leadership from, I think his name was Robert Greenleaf. And his point was that a leader should provide strategic alignment and should help allocate resources so people can get on with doing their job without the leader really having to intervene. And really that's the point of running a planning day well for an organisation or a group, is we lead you through the process of new ways to do things, good examples to help you move forward, and we give you the resources we can provide to enable your whole group to get better at planning than they were before the day we worked with you. Because historically the big problem that all organisations have is people are experts at what they do. Very few people are expert planners. So there's a reason why planning is uncomfortable. There's a reason why doing something big and new that's going to take up time and a lot of resources is daunting, because it's the opposite of the things we're good at. We haven't invested years in getting good at planning. So what we're really doing for you is going, well, we've gone away and learnt as much as we can about people who've become experts in planning and synthesized it down into something that we can do for you for a minimum of a day, and maybe a day a month for several months, if necessary, to get you to the point of absorbing years of great ideas and great examples and implementing, so that by the end of the process, you may not feel like an expert in planning in your area, but you are benefiting from all the expertise of people who've planned in multiple areas.
Yeah, and I think my takeaway was the feeling of satisfaction at the end of the day of watching and sensing the empowered clarity that people were leaving the room with. It was a big session, but there was almost like there was an energy uptick at the end of the day, which I wasn't expecting. I thought people might be a little bit fatigued and worn out, and there was, we did make them work, but they were leading that. They were in control of that the whole time, and there was the valence of the feeling in the room was high energy and looking forward. And in fact, we already had some follow-up emails since of next steps and, now we know what to do. And that confidence that comes with the next decision-making that follows the planning day.
Yep, a lot of people at the end of planning days, how people should be at the end is really a strange combination of wired and tired. Wired that they're back under control and they know what they want to do, and tired because they really have, if a group really get engaged in a good planning day, they should be really tired at the end. And I think part of the reason you should be wired and tired is because a really good planning day, like we try and run, is about we put things in front of you that might be useful, might be very useful, might not be useful yet. And depending on what you and your group need and how you respond, we'll just move on to the next thing if something's not working at that moment, and circle back later if it's one of those things that over the last 70 to 80 years has proven to be really important to quality planning. We'll come back to it when you're ready. And at the end of the day, you should feel wired because you're ready to punch on through, but tired because it has been an intellectually draining day.
I think two last things to finish on. One is the mindset that puts people in best stead to get the most from this day. I would imagine, I'd love to hear what comes out of your head, but I'm thinking that an open curiosity and hopefully a sense of not fear, but I think it is the curiosity to what am I going to uncover within what I and my colleagues already have and know, but maybe we just haven't been chiseling away or putting the pieces together. And so what comes out of the day is a different way of framing and assessing the resources that are there and having that aha moment as, oh, this bit goes with this bit.
Yeah, very much curiosity is at the centre, and really that's what we bring to it, is our curiosity to help people by tailoring to what might work for them, and then when we see it's working, to double down on what works and keep working on other things to help them so that our curiosity can become infectious, and that through our curiosity and then the group's curiosity, they can start to build their swagger, that they know what they want to do next and have a pretty good sense that they can pull it off, or they now know, I know what questions to ask. You know, I know to go and bug Steve and David for what should I go read or what should I think about or what planning exercise should we do. But just knowing that they're not at sea, they are inside of land and they're going to get where they want to go.
And the final thing, some practicalities and logistics. I would think that once you hit around 10 people, you're really towards the upper level of the number of heads and experiences in the room for maximum effect before it starts getting a little bit too unwieldy. Would you resonate with that?
Yeah, basically above 10 people, you need to start breaking the group into groups, and then you lose the continuity of one group working with shared purpose. So in an ideal world, you do it with a maximum of a group of 10. And, you know, if you need to come back and revisit the material with another group from the same organization, you do another day with another group of 10. Not because we can't work with 20 people. It's if you're going to get the most out of it, you don't want to be doing it with 20 people because it dilutes too many things and people's voices don't get heard enough. And it just actually, more people slows down the gains for an organisation.
Yeah, and there wasn't any butcher paper in sight at our planning day. No problem with having some butcher paper around the place, but it ran very efficiently. And I think having an airy room, I'd be mindful of where the sun is going to come in through the windows at some point, because we did have, in this particular building, a little bit of afternoon sun appear out of nowhere that just needed to be mitigated, which we were able to do very quickly. But being mindful of those geographical and operational things up front would be good.
Yeah, a good physical environment just helps to set the tone. If people are comfortable, like, you know, for a planning day that is literally going to be all day, you want chairs that don't cripple people. You want a table big enough that people can spread out and have their notebook and their pencil and their glass of water, and their, you know, they can take their glasses off for a minute and put them down and not worry, is there room to put stuff? You don't want people cramped and uncomfortable. And it's fine for people to get up and walk around and stand for a while. And it's fine to take a break when people need it. You know, rather than going, at this time there will be the break. Well, we just ask, do people need a break now or in 20? Going with the group is what makes a good planning day. And for those of you who've been through planning days where someone stood up the front and said, right, I'm going to take you through a planning day, and it ended up being you're totally on their time frame, they're going to have gotcha moments where they look clever and make the group feel like they're not really keeping up. That is the opposite of what we're interested in.
Absolutely. There's elasticity with every step along the way, and we can stretch some things to be longer, because why arbitrarily force an exercise to be curtailed to keep to some ultimatum, some agenda that might have been planned when we were on the verge of getting some gold? Let's stay, let's pan for that gold, and then move on when the time's right.
Yep, we're here to help you get what you need, not to tell you what to do. There's a very distinct difference.
Yeah, and we hope we could be working with you soon.